Super Mario 3D World is a game with a lot of levels and a lot of mechanics. These simple mechanics allow us to beat the game. But what if we removed one of these mechanics? I will go through every single individual level in Super Mario 3D World to see how many of them can be done without jumping. This video will be divided into two parts since there are over 100 levels in this game. Let's jump right into it. Although we know what a jump is, a few things need to be specified first. On screen here are the rules, and you can pause the video if you need to if you want to view them. This is the strat I use. Using Peach with the cat suit for every level is ideal because of the combination of her float and the ability to climb walls to get past large gaps. I mostly walk off platforms to get onto higher ground and fencing to do this. Time to hop into 1-1. You can get into the pipes, climb onto the walls, and get onto the fences to make it past the large gaps. At the end, you can do this cool jumpless trick jump. 1-1 is possible with ease. At first I thought that 1-2 was impossible because of this area here. It turns out that I was wrong. I can use this Koopa shell to press ZL and get onto the higher ground. I was aware of this method, but I thought that it counted as a jump back then. However, it is an automatic jump, and auto jumps don't count because you don't press A or B for them to happen. It turns out that 1-2 is possible. 1-3 is a vertical level, yet it is still possible to beat. All you have to do is climb on the side throughout the whole level, and the level is a piece of cake. At the beginning of 1-4, you need to hop on Plessie to progress, and you can't get on Plessie without jumping. At the beginning of 1-5, there's an inescapable gap that you can't wall climb out of. 1-5 is impossible. All you have to do for 1-A is defeat the charging Chucks, and that doesn't require jumping at all. 1-Toad is literally a Captain Toad level, so you can't jump even if you try to. Finally is 1-Castle. Everything goes great. You can just wall climb on fences to progress throughout the castle, and the Bowser's fight is broken in our favor. We beat the level without jumping, except we didn't. There's an inescapable gap right at the end of the level. It may seem like you can wall climb to get onto the fences, but you just can't. Unfortunately, every single castle and airship level has the same ending setup, which means those levels are impossible as well. No! It turns out that 5 of the 8 levels are possible in World 1. This could be better, but it could be worse. 2-1 is pretty straightforward. I do some wall climbs at the beginning and run a bit, but for the ending I do a few cat climbs to beat the level. 2-2 is a very unique level because it is centered around the touchscreen feature. I had no idea if this level was going to be possible jumpless when first entering it. The first half was tricky because you had to balance on the thin fencing to progress. However, the second half was smooth sailing, and that is 2-2 complete. 2-3 was pretty challenging. First you need to bounce off this plant to climb up this obstacle. In the 2D section, I simply run over these gaps. I bounce off more plants, go in this door, and beat the level without jumping. 2-4 is going smoothly. All I have to do is go around and climb on these colorful blocks to get in the pipe.
Bruh.
But I can't make it past this hill, so 2-4 is impossible. For 2-5, I climb around the fencing to go into this clear pipe so I can get into this green pipe. But then I land in an inescapable gap. 2-A is easy, just like all the other enemy blockades. 2-Mystery House seems possible until the last green star spawns in an unreachable ledge. Of course. Finally is 2-Castle, a level that is impossible because of the beginning gap. 4 out of the 8 levels in World 2 are possible. 3-1 is a really easy level. Just climb on the sides throughout the whole level. Nothing special. But wait, the ending. It turns out that 3-1 is impossible jumpless because there's no way for me to get on the fencing without jumping. 3-2 is impossible right at the beginning because of an inescapable gap. 3-3 is also impossible. There is no way for me to cross this gap even with a wall climbing technique. We finally catch a break with 3-4. It was easy and there is not much to be said. At first I thought that 3-5 was impossible because of the beginning, but you can do an automatic hop here to get up on the ledge and get into the pipe. This does not count as a jump as I did not press any jump button to perform this action. Most of the level is underwater, so it was pretty straightforward. Instead of going on the bottom pipe, I go up this pipe so I can do another automatic hop, which once again is not a jump. 3-5 is possible. 3-6 is one of the easiest normal levels in this challenge. Just hover or scratch stall with Peach to get across each gap and the level is done. Next up is 3-7. This level has very interesting techniques. First, I go around this waterfall to climb this wall. Then I do this blind trick shot to activate the exclamation mark block. Then I climb my way up here to get on the moving platforms. I run across them and do some jumpless trick jumps to beat the level. For 3-A, just wait for the Kameks to warp to the main platform to defeat them and collect the star. It's possible to defeat Hisokrat in 3-B by getting onto the plates just before they spawn and diving onto him. But the ending is impossible because it has the same setup as the castle and airship levels. 3-Toad is a Captain Toad level, so it's possible. And 3-Train is impossible because there's no way for me to get onto the train without jumping. Okay, so 6 out of the 11 levels in World 3 are possible. So far it's basically half. 4-1 is straightforward. Just climb the walls and hover to get across gaps as always. In this section, I bounce off the ant troopers the whole way through. But the ending is impossible because I can't get onto the fencing. After you enter the pipe on 4-2, oh look at that! An inescapable gap. Big surprise. 4-3 is also straightforward. Just time when you get on the blocks and time your wall climbs and the level is possible. 4-4 is pretty tricky. You have to use a bounce pads to get on the fencing at the beginning and do this precise wall climb. But then I realized that the ending is impossible because there's an inescapable gap. 4-5 is a hard level, but it is easier since you can just use touchscreen to destroy the spikes like so. At the end, I use touchscreen to keep the spikes from hitting me so I can go on each platform without jumping. 4-5 is surprisingly possible. Just use touchscreen or cat scratches to defeat the boulders for 4-A, and the same could be said for 4-B except with Hammer Bros. For the first star of 4-Mystery House, you can use a touchscreen to hit these boost pads without having to jump. However, you need to jump for the 6th star here. 4-Castle. Wait, do I really need to explain this one? 4 out of 9 of the levels in World 4 are possible jump lists. So far, it is still just about half total. 5-1 is the first level where I'm just straight up not sure whether the level is possible or not. However, the answer is most likely no. First off, there are 2 key coins that I can't really reach even with the touchscreen. Even if the key coins are possible to collect without jumping, there is this pipe entry. It seems like you would just barely miss it. Also, after the plussy section, you were stuck in an inescapable gap, so yeah. Let me know in the comments if you find a way to get the key coins because it genuinely feels like you should be able to. In 5-2, there were so many places where I thought that it was over, but I found a way to get past the areas. At the beginning, I climb around this tiny wall to get on the moving pad. Then, I go across the side to get up here. After that, I use the clouds to get past these swinging trapezes. But the trapezes would force you to jump. At this clear pipe section, I climb up to this walkable ledge here so I can get to Captain Toad. But even from this height, I couldn't get past the trapezes. Unfortunately, this is impossible despite all efforts. 5-3 impossible, inescapable gap, enough said. For the giant walls on 5-4, I use these rocks to climb the wall and get into the first cannon and get shot out of it. I did the same thing for the ending, and that is all there was to say for this level. It was easy. I thought 5-5 was going to be impossible because of the beginning, but it turns out I can lure this bomb over to me so I can bounce off of it, float, and then cling to the wall in succession. After clinging to the wall, I land on this question mark block. With that elevated block, I can now climb the wall to get onto this platform. The rest of the level is as simple as running and climbing walls when necessary. For the ending, however, I climb on this fence and take advantage of the weird physics of this game to get onto the flag. 5-6 is a cakewalk. Literally. I can use the touchscreen to stop the laser beam from hitting me. Those are the only notable things about the level. After the halfway point of 5-7, there is an inescapable gap, so the level is impossible. 5-A and 5-B are both enemy blockades, so those levels are both a breeze. Wait, what? A level that is meant to be played jumpless is possible in this challenge? That's a huge shocker right there. 5-Castle may look intimidating, but it is an easy level to get through. But the boss fight might be impossible because you have to jump onto the X pad to deal damage to the boss. So was I able to beat it? The answer is it doesn't matter because of the ending. No! Out of the 11 levels in World 5, a total of 6 of them were doable. Not gonna lie, there's not much to say about 6-1. All you have to do is do the intended stuff and go in the pipes and the level's done. 6-2 is definitely a hard level to do jumpless. At the beginning, you need to climb around the ship onto this ledge. Then you need to float over to this wooden plank. But this right here is what makes this level brutal. You have to precisely climb this thick, thin plank and then climb up to the side of the ship without falling. Finally, I defeat the bullies, enter the warp box, and use a wall climb strategy to just barely touch the flag. 6-3 is impossible right off the bat because the inescapable gap at the beginning. Huge shocker! 6-4 is yet another tricky level. For the first part, I ride on the raft. After that, I head over to this wall to climb it. I basically just try to stay up top. Then I drop to the checkpoint area. Once again, I ride the raft. Then I climb this wall so I can get on the elevated platform. Smooth sailing, right? Wrong. After I enter the warp box, we meet the ultimate problem, the flagpole. Well, I can just climb off the edge then. I can, but it's hard to do it in succession because the goop is so high and I have practically nothing to climb on. I can still wall climb at least, however, the flagpole is so far away. In fact, it is just far away enough where I have to say that this is just barely impossible. If you can somehow reach the flag, let me know, but for now this looks just out of reach. There isn't much to say for 6-5. I just climb the necessary walls and use the touchscreen to stop the typhoons from blowing me off the platform. And just like that, 6-5 is done with little to no effort. Even though 6-6 is a vertical level, it can be done with a lot of the falling off the platform and then wall climbing back up strategy. I already knew 6-7 wasn't possible, but it turns out you can get farther than I initially thought. For this cloud part, I climb behind into this pocket to get onto the top cloud. However, I can't hit this boost pad with the touchscreen for some reason, so this level is impossible. 6-A and 6-B are easy because they are just enemy blockades. 6-C. At long last, we finally have a mystery house that is possible. 6- mystery house, aka the easiest mystery house in the entire game. Literally just use the touchscreen to get every single star. Now we have the last level of the day, 6-train. Wait a minute, do I really need to explain? Out of the 12 levels in World 6, it looks like 7 of them were possible to beat without jumping. And out of the total 59 levels we did today, a grand total of 32 were possible jumpless. That's about 54% of the levels we've done today being possible jumpless in single player. Not bad, but I want to do better in the second half. Thank you for watching this video the whole way through. As you know, this video is divided into 2 parts. That is why I stopped at World 6. World 7 through 12 will be on part 2. Once again, 5-1 and 6-4 were the levels that seem barely impossible. Let me know if you find a way to beat those levels without jumping. Also, my apologies for the people who waited like multiple months for this to come out. I will try to have part 2 come out as soon as I can. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to subscribe. It's free and it helps me make more videos like this. With that, thanks again for watching this video, and I will see you next time.